It's midweek. Hello and welcome to the marketplace. In the next 30 minutes, Public and Interest Accountability Committee calls for government to establish legacy projects with oil revenue. We'll hear from the committee on this development. Also in the bulletin, remittance.
He recommended that the government should have at least one or two legacy properties that we can pinpoint, if possible, in all regions.
Also in the bulletin, remittance inflows to Ghana continue to witness significant growth amidst predictions of a decline in general inflows to Africa due to the COVID-19. We'll hear the story of ZPay as it witnessed a year-on-year average growth of 140%.
Month on month, year on year, we merged well. We finished at 146% growth, cumulative average growth rate, which is quite relevant for a fintech. We closed the year with an annual profit of, I think, 4.2 million. This is after tax.
Also, South Africa Airways relaunches its route back in Accra after 18 months of suspension. Later in the bulletin, ahead of the third mini-fair of the Ecobank JoyNews Habitat Fair, we engage one of the key sponsors, Duraplast Limited. To stay for more, I'm Charles Aite. We're back with details.
Hello, my name is Evans Mensah, and you can relive all the fun and excitement on Top Story, Newsnight, and of course, Ghana Connect via podcast. All you need to do is to log on to my Joy Online/podcast. Search for your favorite show and relive the moment. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
Hello and welcome. The Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, is impressing on government the need to implement its recommendations on the expenditure of oil revenues. Now, the committee is demanding that government builds a legacy project in each of the 16 districts in order for citizens to benefit from the resources. Chairman of the committee, Professor Kwame Edum-Frimpong, spoke to Joy Business after a swearing-in ceremony for some new members of the committee in Accra.
Look at our 2020 report. He recommended that the government should have at least one or two legacy properties that we can pinpoint, if possible, in all regions. Pinpoint that this legacy or this property is from petroleum revenue. At times, you use the petroleum revenue to do a lot of things, but it's difficult to identify or pinpoint that is from. So a lot of people talk, we are having more oil, we are having this, we are having this. You don't know how they are using them. So at least if those things are there, they can point it out and then let the citizens or the public know that this comes from the petroleum revenue. That's one recommendation. And also explain that the thinly properties, you have to seize it. Because at times you go to a region, then borehole, small ones, and then the following year it's not there again. The roads, the way some are constructed, you go there, the following year it's not there again. So that's why we are agitating that petroleum revenue should have legacy properties. We can point it out that this is coming from petroleum revenue.
Now, the newly constituted board of the Public Procurement Authority has vowed to strictly abide by all conditions required for the procurement process under single source. This assurance follows many reported infractions of procurement process by the state through single sourcing at various agencies in the country. Speaking after a short ceremony to inaugurate the new public board of the Public Procurement Authority, the board chairman, Professor Amaya Ekumfi, assured that although the process is not a bad one, the board will insist that all conditions are met.
Single-sourced procurement has always been described as a window for corruption in the public sector. The newly constituted board for the Public Procurement Authority is therefore promising to work diligently with other related agencies to ensure that the required processes are carried through before approving any single-sourced project. Board Chairman Professor Amaya Ekumfi believes the practice helps in many emergency cases but will be strict on the requirement.
Originally procured from Ghana, whatever, company, and it breaks down. The only logical source to go to is that company that supplied it originally. So when you approach it that way, that will be single sourcing. So, and if there is an emergency, that will have to be tackled. And you know a supplier who is immediately available, that may be the supplier that you go to. So there is no myth around it. It's just that, again, you have situations where people try to cut corners. That ought to be avoided. We have to make sure that the conditions are met. And we're going to insist on that. We're going to insist on that.
Deputy Minister for Finance, John Kuma, who sworn in the board, charged the committee to ensure that public procurements are carried out in a fair and transparent manner.
By way of its object, the PPA is expected to harmonize the processes of public procurement in the public service to secure a judicious, economic, and efficient use of state resources in public procurement and ensure that public procurement is carried out in a fair, transparent, and non-discriminatory, environmentally and socially sustainable manner.
The 9-member board is mandated to ensure a smooth operation of the authority in supporting procurement processes for government.
Now, despite predictions that remittance inflows to Africa would suffer as a result of COVID, the story about Ghana proved otherwise as the country continues to witness significant growth. For instance, fastest growing Ghanaian fintech ZPay managed to grow its business by 146% in compound annual growth within the markets in which it operates. The managing director, Andrew Techiapia, spoke to Joy Business at the company's 2021 annual general meeting, where it declared dividend payment for last year.
2020 was a good year for us. We had a few challenges at the first quarter, partly because of Brexit, which affected obviously our European operations, and then of course the local challenges in itself, and then the pandemic itself. But I think we, month on month, year on year, we merged well. We finished at 146% growth, cumulative average growth rate, which is quite relevant for a fintech. We closed the year with an annual profit of, I think, 4.2 million. This is after tax. In terms of revenues were in excess of 16 million. As a business, we processed $400 million in volume. And the outlook for 2021 is very exciting for us. We brought on new shareholders. So we got IMP, which is a French. We brought on Good Soil as well through a vehicle of theirs. So it's exciting. I'm even more excited about the fact that we've closed our Series 8.0, and we're looking to close our Series 8.5 by the end of the year, which will scale us into our global operations on the continent and also in the Caribbean. In terms of earnings per share moved from 4 cities to 40 cities, which is also very relevant. But of course, if you look at our growth year on year, on average, we grow about 150–140%.
And that's Andrew Techiapia, the managing director of ZPay. Meanwhile, chairman of the company, Parkwesi Yankee, has renewed commitments to position ZPay as the best payment and remittances platform to drive further growth in the country.
Pandemic, which broke out, really meant that a lot of money was needed, mobile money, in terms of mobile money flowing from various countries worldwide. And this really, we had to take advantage of what the pandemic brought onto and increased our transactions in leaps and bounds. And ZPay has become a company that we'll have to all contend with. It's done extremely well this, and hope that coming year will even be better. We went into Francophone countries, Ivory Coast, which is one of our leading, countries, operating. We're also going into Mozambique and other Southern African countries, so that we open the various corridors for us to do our fintech
operations.
You're still watching The Marketplace. Now, South African Airways has resumed flights to Accra, Ghana, after 18 months of withdrawal of their services due to matters regarding financial challenges and the impact of COVID-19. This report brings up special speeches by the stakeholders there as they pledge their support to the single African air market, which will take off by the next 20 years. There's more in this report. Speaking at the relaunch of the operations and inaugural flight of the Airbus, country manager of South Africa Airways, Gloria Wilkinson-Mensah, assured of quality service and convenience for travelers.
The services of South African Airways was actually suspended from March 2020 through the lockdowns and through the opening of the skies by various governments. And South African Airways made an announcement which has been long expected on the 25th of September to relaunch its flights. On the 25th of August to relaunch its flights.
The South African High Commissioner to Ghana expressed readiness of South Africa Airways as a strategic route to complement the African Continental Free Trade Area.
The strategy is to achieve and maintain financial sustainability, strengthen our balance sheets, support South Africa's national development agenda through transformation, job creation, and connecting South Africa to trade and tourism partners.
The resumption of flights, this is the inaugural flight of South African Airways, and it's very much pivotal, especially when it's coming on board of the Continental Free Trade Agreement area, the rerouting of flights from South Africa to Ghana, and of course in West Africa. They are hopeful of increased margins and they are hopeful of boosted profits demand despite the challenges of the past. I'm Charles Aita reporting for Joy Business. And we'll see how that goes for South Africa Airways. But aside from that, away from that, Asantehene Otumfuo Setutu II has called on telecoms giant MTN to intensify efforts to clamp down on internet scam and mobile money fraud. He observes the trend could be detrimental to the digitization drive in the telecommunications sector. The Asantehene said that when management of MTN paid a courtesy call on him at the Menchia Palace. We have more in this report.
The leadership of telecommunications giant MTN paid a courtesy call on the Asantehene as part of its 25th year anniversary. The Asantehene commended MTN for their contribution to digitization in the country and admonished them to strengthen their efforts to address the incidents of fraud. Some people use your company name to make false publications to deceive people on social media. We must curb this. He says the influence of fast internet is key to smooth business operations in the new digital era. During the peak of the pandemic, digitization was significant, and your output played a vital role for businesses. Otumfuo made these statements when MTN Ghana paid a courtesy call to the palace and donated a sum of 100,000 Ghana cedis to the Otumfuo Setutu II Education Fund. Managing Director of MTN, Mr. Selo Madadivo, says the company is committed to contributing more to education. He says MTN intends to expand education using the digital space.
Last quarter, you see 600-bed dormitory block at Tamale. na yɛtoa abuana students for almost good environment.
We are helping several students to have a conducive learning space. All educational websites have now been made free for all users.
MTN network now about 200 educational websites and free.
You're still watching The Marketplace. We're going for a short commercial break. When we return, we have a discussion on the JoyNews Ecobank Habitat Fair with Duraplast on the spotlight. Do stay.
Hello, I'm Dori Nando. You can catch up with all the fun on the Cosmopolitan Mix and on all our shows via podcast. Just go to My Joy Online podcast and search for your favorite show and relive those moments all over again. Only on Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7.
You're welcome back to the program. And you may want to join us at the Junction Mall this weekend, the 2nd and 3rd of October, for the 3rd mini fair of the Ecobank JoyNews Habitat Fair from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. Now, this fair is in partnership with Ecobank and powered by the Plan City Extension Project from Cities and Habitats. It's under the theme, Home Ownership, to build or to buy. And of course, Duraplast Limited is one of our key sponsors for this year's fair. As such, we're joined in studio by the company's sales manager, Emmanuel Ofori-Aintree. Emmanuel, we're grateful that you could join us. The weekend is just upon us, but you know, we've had successful, mini clinics before the 3rd one. What has been Duraplast's, experience so far with the 1st and 2nd mini clinics?
Okay, thank you. I think the first one started from the Achimota Retail Center. Yeah, it was fantastic, but then we realized that it was building up. So at the West Hills Mall, now it took its full pace now.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was okay, especially at the West Hills Mall. It was okay. There were a lot of customers. Even after the fair, some of them have been calling. We have also been interacting with some of them. So I think it's good.
So you've been having follow-up calls,
We have
from
follow-up
that.
calls, yes, from
Great,
that.
great. But one major product of Duraplast is that of the water tank. And of course, we have seen so many products of that nature on the market. What's special about Duraplast product that should get customers interested in ahead of this mini clinic?
The water tank is a very unique tank on the market. It comes with 2 layers, the outer black and the inside white. And these 2 layers have purpose, the role they play. The outer black prevents the sun rays from entering the water. So you get the water fresh anytime you're using it.
Okay.
Our tank also comes with the indicator. With other tanks, when you want to check the level of water, you have to go and knock like a
I don't even have to climb all the way
You have to climb, which is very funny. Yeah. But then with the water tank, you just have to stand at a distance. You can just know the level of water in your tank.
Great.
So you will not be in the bathroom bathing and all of a sudden water gets finished.
That reminds me of that advert that you guys placed.
Yes.
So innovative. But we could see some of the products of Duraplast on the screen.
Yes. We also have the ADP pipes and fittings, which is the number 1 on the market for the plumbing or the plumbers.
Great.
Okay. We also have the PVC as well also for the plumbers. Then we also have the DuraBlock, for demarcation of rules, maybe not rules, or maybe the market on the in front of your shop. There are some tractor drivers who are worrying you parking there. You can use to demarcate it, and it is fantastic.
So
we also have a plastic canoe.
Great.
Some people don't. We have a plastic canoe.
A plastic canoe.
Canoe, yes.
We could find most of these things across river bodies.
Oh yes. Especially to go to German and the Volta Lake, you see a lot of our canoes there. Yeah.
But for those of us watching currently, we are interested to know what we stand to gain visiting your stands this weekend. What exactly do you have for prospective clients ahead of the mini clinic this weekend?
Okay, we are showcasing our DST, that's a Duraplast septic tank.
All right.
Yeah, very innovative sewage system.
Okay.
Mainly for waterlogged areas, but then it can be used for schools, for hospitals, for offices. Joy FM can get one, whatever. Yeah.
Sure.
Then also we've come out with the garbage chute.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the latest on our product range. The garbage chute is a product we've used for construction industry, especially the high-rise buildings. If you want to throw some garbage or some debris or waste, you don't have just to throw it into the air. There might be some neighbors around which may have side effects with that. So you just drop it through the chute and to come down to the ground floor.
And it's quite interesting the fact that Duraplas keeps evolving with the times.
Exactly.
And evolving with the demand of the environment, the clean environment that you guys come up with. And of course, we could see what you were discussing.
Exactly. You see that, yeah. Exactly. So you see the top red shows
on the screen.
It's empty.
Okay.
The middle is you have half tank.
Okay.
The yellow means half tank, and the green at the bottom meaning your tank is full.
The power of the indicator there.
The point indicator there.
Great.
So as it is now, the tank is full.
Are there any special packages for prospective clients?
Yeah, especially for this fair, we are running 10% discount.
10%.
Anybody who comes there this weekend, we are running. In fact, we did it at the Westall Mall.
Okay.
We did it, and we're going to repeat again.
Okay. So your final thoughts on the building industry and the contribution of Duraplas to the success of most of these building projects that we've seen around town?
Yeah, Duraplas has contributed a lot, both the residential and commercial buildings. Yeah, most buildings you see around pipes are used from Duraplas.
Exactly.
I tell you.
Exactly.
The tanks do the same thing. So we are doing a lot. A lot in the building industry. Yeah.
And of course, for those of us watching, we should just make our way this weekend to the Junction Mall, where you will meet Emmanuel Ofori-Entry, the sales manager of Duraplas, where you could channel out each and every concern you have, questions that you have, and specific packages that you'd want from Duraplas. We're so grateful that you could join us once again for your thoughts on what we should be expecting ahead of the mini clinic this weekend. It's all geared to the main event, which comes off at the Accra International Conference Center from Wednesday the 27th to Sunday the 31st of October. It's big, and it's been specifically tailored for you out there, our customer, our viewer and listener, to help you bridge the housing gap in the country currently. But away from that, the presiding member of the Tamale Metro Assembly, Mohammed Al-Hassan, has raised concerns over foot soldiers hijacking revenue collection points by the Assembly since 2017. He said this has made it difficult for the Assembly to raise revenue from these points.
Speaking at the quarterly review meeting of the Regional Coordinating Council, Mr. Mohammed Al-Hassan said the foot soldiers do not even approach the assemblies when they are seizing these revenue points. This, he said, is motivation for other foot soldiers whose party are in waiting.
The challenges that we are confronted with in terms of our IGF mobilization, especially for the urban cities. Maybe the trend might not get to my brother from here, but I can tell you that for the urban cities like Tamale and Sanaro, we are really having a headache. I can confidently say that from 2017 up to date, there are regular points that we haven't been able to approach as an assembly to take one from. The issue of them coming and saying that we want this, that's even in a more diplomatic way. In our case, they don't approve the assembly, they take the regular item, and nobody there goes close to them. I'm saying that from 2017 up to date, we haven't been able to approve them. The unfortunate thing in this is that it is motivating the others who are sitting out there and waiting for their party to come in. And when their party comes in, you come also to first. At the end of the day, it's the assembly and the good people of Tamale. That's the consequences.
But the Northern Regional Minister, in his response, said the region is not a lawless state, therefore this cannot be allowed.
Who hijacked what? Are you telling me that we are living in a lawless country? You can't say that. It's an indictment on yourself. If you say that somebody has hijacked a revenue checkpoint and you can't go there and ask for it, what are the security agencies doing? Why do you have it? Why is that there's supposed to be a DC, MC, or a mayor or something? A post. And you have been put there in trust. You have to work for the people of Ghana. So if you can't do that, it means you are not fit to be there. I can't take that. If I'm put in charge of something, make sure that I consume my mandate. So if you have a mandate of managing the affairs of an assembly and you think you can't do it, you don't have any reason to be there. So please, this is not an excuse.
And of course, that's how we end this edition of The Marketplace. I'm Charles Aite. Grateful that you could join us. For more news, you log on to myjoyonline.com, where you could get updates in Ghana and the rest of the world. Many thanks once again for watching. Enjoy the rest of our programs.